The Empire had ruled the stars for 11,000 years. They were tall creatures, almost 3 meters high, with hard shells like insects and 4 arms that ended in sharp claws. Their eyes were black and cold, and they felt no pity for anyone. They moved from planet to planet, taking what they wanted and killing anyone who said no. Commander stood on the bridge of his warship and looked at the small blue planet below. The humans called it 442b. His people called it nothing at all because it was worthless to them. The gravity was too strong. The air was difficult to breathe. The animals were dangerous. The weather was violent. But the humans lived there anyway. 3,000 of them had built a small town called New on this terrible world. They farmed the land. They dug mines. They raised their children under a sky that tried to kill them every day. Did not understand humans. No one in the galaxy did. They came from a planet called Earth, a world so dangerous that most species refused to believe it was real. Earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, floods, animals with poison and teeth and claws, diseases that could kill millions. And yet humans had not only survived on this nightmare world, they had become its masters. Now they spread across the stars, building homes on planets that would kill any other species. They seemed to enjoy the challenge. They laughed at danger. They made jokes about death. The galaxy had a name for such worlds, and the creatures that came from them were called. Humans were the most successful anyone had ever seen, but was not afraid of them. He had 47 warships in orbit, each one carrying 1,000 soldiers. The human colony had no military, no defenses, no weapons. They were farmers and scientists and families with small children. It was the children that wanted. Human children were special. Their brains were soft and flexible, able to learn anything. If you took them young enough and trained them properly, they could become perfect servants. They could learn any language in days. They could solve problems that computers could not. They could be plugged into warships and used as living navigation systems. One human child was worth more than a planet full of gold. The Empire had been taking human children for decades. Small raids on distant colonies. Quick attacks that were over before anyone could respond. The humans complained to the Galactic Council, but the Council was afraid of the Empire, so they did nothing. Tonight would add to his collection. The dropships fell through the dark sky like metal rain. 200 of them, each carrying 50 soldiers. They landed in the fields around New while the humans slept. The soldiers moved quietly through the streets, their black armor making them almost invisible in the night. Watch from his shuttle as his troops surrounded the town. Everything was going perfectly. The humans had no idea what was coming. Then he saw her. A small human girl stood alone in a garden behind one of the houses. She was moving slowly, her arms flowing through the air in strange patterns. Some kind of dance, perhaps, or exercise. She wore simple white clothes and her black hair was tied back from her face. Checked his scanner. The girl was 8 years old, perfect age for training. Her brain would still be flexible enough to shape. He landed his shuttle nearby and walked toward her with 4 of his best soldiers. The girl stopped her movements and turned to face them. She did not scream. She did not run. She just looked at them with dark eyes that showed no fear at all. This surprised. Human children usually cried when they saw. This one seemed almost curious. "Hello," the girl said. Her voice was calm and clear. I learned about you in school." Tilted his head. "You know what we are." "Yes, you take children, you hurt people." She paused. "You should not have come here." One of the soldiers laughed, a clicking sound that came from deep in his throat. "Brave little creature, she threatens us." Stepped closer. The girl was so small, her head barely reached his waist. He could crush her with one hand. "What is your name, child?" "Well, you are coming with us now. If you are quiet and good, we will not hurt you. If you fight or scream, we will hurt your family. Do you understand?" Nodded slowly. "I understand, but you still should not have come here." Why not? She smiled. It was a strange smile, not afraid or sad, but almost excited. Because my father will come for me, and he does not like it when people touch me. Laughed, he reached down and grabbed her arm with his clawed hand. Her skin was so soft, so easy to break. Your father is sleeping in his bed, little one. By the time he wakes up, you will be far away. No, said, he is not sleeping, he is working tonight on his ship. Something cold touched his heart. What ship? Before could answer, his communicator screamed with an emergency alert. The sound was so loud and so urgent that every soldier in the garden froze. Commander, the voice of his second officer was shaking with fear. Commander, we have a problem. What is it? Human ships, sir. They just appeared. No warning, no fold space signatures. They were just suddenly there. Felt his blood turn cold. How many? One, sir, just one, but, the officer's voice broke. But our sensors cannot read it properly. The energy levels are impossible. Nothing that small should have that much power. Where is it? Right above us, Commander. It is already in weapons range. Looked up at the sky. He could see nothing but stars and the distant shapes of his own warships. But somewhere up there, something was watching him. He looked down at, she was still smiling. I told you, she said softly. My dad is coming, he always comes for me. The communicator crackled again. A new voice now, calm and cold and human. This is Captain Park of the Terran vessel. You have attacked a human colony. You have touched my daughter. I am giving you one chance to release her and leave this system. One chance. That is more than you deserve. His hands were shaking. He had never felt fear before. Not real fear. But something in that voice, something in the way this human spoke, made him feel like a small creature facing a monster. We have 47 ships, he said into his communicator. You have one, you cannot threaten us. The human laughed. It was not a happy sound. Commander, I am not threatening you. I am telling you what will happen. You have 9 minutes to return my daughter. After that, I will show you why the galaxy should have left humanity alone. The line went dead. Looked at, she was humming a little song, completely relaxed, as if she was waiting for her father to pick her up from school. What is your father? Whispered. Looked up at him with innocent eyes. He is just a dad, she said, but he loves me very much, and where we come from, love makes people do crazy things. Above them, hidden in the darkness between stars, they began to wake up. And the Empire had 8 minutes left to learn the most important lesson in the galaxy. Never touch a human child. Captain Park had not always been a soldier. 10 years ago, he was a simple man with a simple life. He worked as an engineer, building machines that helped turn dead planets into living worlds. He had a wife named who laughed at his bad jokes. He had a daughter named who called him and fell asleep in his arms every night. He was happy. He thought happiness would last forever. Then the incident happened. A species called the wanted to test how humans responded to attack. They did not want war. They just wanted information. So they destroyed a human research station with 2,000 people on it, including his wife. The galaxy expected humans to cry and complain to the council. Instead, something else happened. Something that changed everything. 3 days after the attack, every single military base outside their home system was destroyed. Not attacked, destroyed, completely. No one saw the ships that did it. No one detected any weapons. The bases simply stopped existing, along with everyone in them. They begged for peace. They got it, but only after they paid for every human life they had taken. The price was so high that their empire nearly collapsed. After that, the galaxy learned to be more careful around humans. But some species were stupid. Some species thought they were strong enough. Some species kept taking human children because the profit was too good to resist. The Empire was one of those species. Could have spent the rest of his life being angry. He could have become bitter and mean. Instead, he made a choice. He would protect other families from feeling the pain he felt. He would make sure no other child lost their mother the way he had. He joined the Terran Defense Force. He trained for 5 years. He learned things about human military technology that most people did not know existed. And then he was given command of a ship called the. There was not a normal ship. It did not appear in any official records. It had no registration number. As far as the galaxy knew, it did not exist. But it was real, and it was the most dangerous thing humanity had ever built. It was designed for one purpose: to respond to attacks on human colonies before anyone could react. It used technology that humanity had kept secret for 100 years. Fold space drives that were 10 times faster than anything the galaxy had seen. Weapons that broke the laws of physics. Shields that could stop a sun from burning. Every human colony had a guardian ship like the hiding nearby. And every guardian ship had a crew of volunteers who had lost someone to alien attacks, people who had nothing left to lose, people who would burn the galaxy to protect what remained. Tonight, there was on patrol 3 light-years from 442b when felt it. Every parent in the colony had a small device implanted in their child. It was connected to the parent through something called quantum entanglement, a technology so advanced that most species thought it was magic. The device could not be blocked. It could not be jammed. It worked instantly across any distance. Once the device activated, felt it in his chest like a punch. His daughter was in danger. He was on his feet before he knew he was moving. "All stations," he shouted. "Emergency fold destination 442b now." His first officer, lieutenant, looked up from her console. She was a small woman with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much death. Her own son had been taken by raiders 5 years ago. She had never found him. "Sir, a fold of that distance will burn out at least 2 drive cores." "Then burn them." "Understood." His voice was cold and hard. "All hands brace for emergency fold. This is not a drill." The screamed as its engines tore a hole in space-time. The ship fell through dimensions that human minds could not understand. Colors that had no names flashed across the. The crew held onto their stations and prayed. Normal ships took 6 minutes to cross a light-year through fold space. They did it in 2. 4 minutes after the alert, they arrived at 442b. Looked at the tactical display and felt his rage grow cold and sharp like a blade. 47 warships hung in orbit above the colony. Dropships were scattered across the planet's surface like insects. And somewhere down there, surrounded by alien soldiers, his daughter was waiting for him. "Report," he said quietly. 47 enemy vessels, sir. Standard invasion group. They have already landed ground forces. Our colony is surrounded." Paused. "We are detecting multiple human life signs being moved toward the ships. They are taking children." Closed his eyes. For a moment he was not a captain. He was just a father who had already lost his wife, a father who could not lose his daughter too. He opened his eyes. "Open a channel to the flagship. All frequencies. Make sure every ship in their fleet can hear this." The communications officer nodded. "Channel open, sir." Stood straight and spoke in a voice that was calm and clear and absolutely terrifying. "This is Captain Park of the Terran vessel. You have attacked a human colony. You have taken human children. One of those children is my daughter. I am giving you one chance to release all prisoners and leave this system. You have 9 minutes. The response came quickly. Laughter translated by the computer into clicking sounds. "One ship against 47. You humans are as foolish as we have heard. Surrender now, and we might let you live as a slave." Did not react. He simply turned to. "Lieutenant, begin the demonstration." Smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Yes, sir. Activating Wrath Protocol." Deep inside the systems that had been sleeping for years began to wake up. The ship's hull started to change. plates sliding and rotating to reveal hidden weapons. The engines hummed with power that should have been impossible for a vessel this size. They were about to learn something that the galaxy had forgotten. Humans were not peaceful because they were weak. Humans were peaceful because they had seen what they could become when they let go of their kindness. And today, for the first time in 50 years, humanity was going to show the galaxy its true face. The face of a species that had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every single day. The face of parents protecting their children. The face of monsters. Sir said, Wrath Protocol is active. All weapons are online. The ship is ready. Nodded, he looked at the tactical display, at the 47 warships that thought they were safe. Target the nearest cruiser, he said. Fire when ready. With pleasure, sir. The fired. And the Empire began to understand what fear truly meant. Commander watched from the planet's surface as something impossible happened in the sky above him. The human ship was changing. At first it had looked like a normal vessel, small, simple, almost boring, the kind of ship that traders used to carry goods between planets, nothing special, nothing dangerous. Now it looked like something from a nightmare. The hull was unfolding like a flower made of metal and light. Parts of the ship that should not have been able to move were sliding and rotating into new positions. Strange shapes appeared, things that hurts eyes to look at, geometry that should not exist in normal space. And the energy readings. What is happening? Shouted into his communicator. Report. His science officer's voice came back, shaking with terror. Commander, the energy output from that ship is impossible. It is generating more power than a small star. The readings do not make sense. Our instruments cannot measure it properly. That is impossible. Nothing that small can produce that much power. I know, sir, but it is happening. Looked down at the human child still standing beside him. Was watching the sky with a calm smile on her face, like she was watching fireworks on a holiday. What is that thing? Demanded. Shrugged, it is just my dad's ship. He built it to protect people. Built it, he built that. My dad is very good at building things. Before Mom died, he used to build entire planets. She looked up with innocent eyes. He changed after she died. He builds different things now. Above them in orbit, the fleet was beginning to panic. Every captain was screaming orders. Every gunner was targeting the impossible ship. Every sensor officer was trying to understand what they were seeing. Then the admiral gave the command that would haunt his species forever. All ships, open fire, destroy that vessel. 47 warships fired at the same moment. Thousands of weapons launched their deadly light toward the human ship, enough firepower to crack a moon in half, enough energy to burn a continent to ash. The shots missed. Every single one of them. The human ship did not move. It did not dodge. It did not even seem to try to avoid the attack. But somehow, every weapon passed through empty space where the ship had been a moment before. It was like trying to hit a shadow with a stick. How? The admiral screamed. How is this possible? The science officer's voice came back, barely more than a whisper. Probability manipulation, sir. They are changing the probability of events, making it certain that our weapons will miss, making it impossible for us to hit them. That cannot be real. That is not technology. That is magic. The humans do not believe in the difference, sir. Then the fired back. A single beam of white light shot from the human ship. It was beautiful and terrible, like looking at a piece of a star that had been shaped into a weapon. The beam touched the nearest cruiser, a ship called the Endless Victory that had destroyed 100 worlds. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then the cruiser began to age. Watched through his shuttle's sensors as the impossible happened. The metal hull of the Endless Victory started to rust and crumble. The paint faded and peeled away. The weapons drooped and fell off like dead leaves from a tree. Inside the ship, the crew was dying, not from fire or explosions, but from time. They grew old in seconds. Their bodies withered. Their shells cracked and turned to dust. The lights flickered and died. The engines failed and went silent. In less than 10 seconds, a warship that had been young and strong became an ancient ruin drifting in space, a tomb full of dust that had once been warriors. The fleet went silent. No one could speak. No one could move. Then Captain Park's voice came through every communicator in the system. That was one shot from one ship. You have 8 minutes remaining to return my daughter before the rest of our fleet arrives. The rest of our fleet is less patient than I am. The admiral found his voice. How many ships? 12,000. They were already coming when you entered this system. Every human colony has a guardian fleet waiting nearby. We learned long ago that the galaxy only respects one thing: strength. We hoped we would never have to show ours. You have made that impossible. On the planet's surface, soldiers were backing away from. They had seen what happened to the cruiser. They did not want to touch anything human ever again. Himself was frozen. His mind could not process what he had witnessed: time manipulation, probability control, weapons that aged ships into dust. These were not technologies. These were powers that only God should have. "What are you?" he whispered. Heard him. She turned and looked up at the alien commander with eyes that suddenly seemed very old for an 8-year-old girl. "We are human," she said simply. "We come from a world where everything wants to kill us. The animals, the weather, the ground under our feet. Even our own bodies try to destroy us with sickness and age. We have been fighting since before we learned to speak." She took a step toward him and stumbled backward. "My teacher told us that other species evolved on gentle worlds, worlds where the sun was kind and the water was clean and nothing wanted to eat them. Those species learned to be peaceful because they did not need to fight." Another step. Soldiers were running now. "We are different. We learned to fight everything. We fought our planet, we fought our bodies, we fought time and space and the laws of nature, and we won. We won against everything." She stopped in front of him, this tiny human child who should have been powerless. "My dad says that humans are peaceful now because we choose to be. We could have conquered the galaxy a long time ago. We could have made every species our slaves, but we decided that was wrong. We decided to be kind instead." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "But when someone hurts our children, we remember what we really are. We remember that we are the monsters that monsters have nightmares about." Above them, the fired again. Another cruiser aged and died. "You have 7 minutes, Captain Park announced. "I suggest you start returning the children now." Dropped to his knees. His proud warrior's body was shaking like a leaf in a storm. "Return them," he gasped into his communicator. "Return all the children. Now, do it now." Watched as the soldiers began carrying human children back to their parents. Some of the children were crying. Some were sleeping. All of them were alive. She looked up at the sky, at the distant light of her father's ship. "Thank you," she whispered. And somewhere in the darkness of space, Captain Park allowed himself to breathe again. His daughter was safe. But the lesson was not over yet. The sun was rising over New when the last soldier returned the last human child. The night had been long and terrible. Parents had stood in the cold, waiting and praying and holding each other. Some had screamed when they saw the alien ships above them. Some had tried to fight with farming tools and kitchen knives. But most had simply waited because there was nothing else they could do. Now it was over. Children ran into the arms of their mothers and fathers. Families that had been broken were made whole again. The sounds of crying filled the air, but it was happy crying now. The crying of relief. Captain Park landed his shuttle in the center of the town square. He did not care about protocols or military rules. He needed to see his daughter. Was waiting for him when the door opened. She ran to him without a word. her small body crashing into his like a tiny comet, caught her and lifted her up, holding her so tightly that she made a small sound of complaint. "Dad, Dad, I cannot breathe." "Sorry." He loosened his grip but did not let go. "Are you okay? Did they hurt you?" "No, I told them you were coming. They did not believe me at first." She pulled back and looked at his face. Her eyes were bright and clear, not traumatized but excited. "I saw your ship change. It was so cool." Laughed. It was a strange sound, half joy and half pain. "I am glad you think so." "The alien who grabbed me is over there," pointed to where Commander stood surrounded by human soldiers. "He was scared of you, very scared." Looked at the commander. Seemed smaller than before, like the fear had shrunk him. His 4 arms hung limply at his sides. His black eyes stared at nothing. "I know," said quietly. "I need to talk to him." He sat down gently. "Go find Mrs. Stay with her until I come back." "Okay." Hugged him one more time, then ran off toward a group of worried-looking teachers. Walked toward Commander. The soldiers had all been disarmed and placed in holding areas outside the town, but had been kept separate. He was the leader. He was the one who had ordered the raid. He was the one who had grabbed with his own claws. Stopped in front of him. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The human soldiers around them were silent, watching. "Do you know why I did not destroy your entire fleet?" asked finally. His voice was broken and rough. "No. Because I wanted you to go home. I wanted you to tell your emperor exactly what happened here. I wanted you to describe what you saw, the ship, the weapons, the way your cruisers aged into dust." Leaned closer. "I wanted you to make him understand." "Understand what?" "That we are not prey. We never were." His voice was calm, but something dark lived behind his eyes. "Your empire has been taking human children for decades. You thought we were too peaceful to stop you. You thought our kindness was weakness." He paused. "You were wrong." His legs were shaking. He wanted to run, to hide, to be anywhere but here, but he could not move. The human's eyes held him frozen. "We keep records," continued. "We know every species that has ever attacked humanity, every raid, every stolen child, every murdered family. We have been patient because we believe in peace. We have been quiet because we hoped the galaxy would learn to leave us alone." His voice dropped to a whisper. "That patience is ending." Finally found words. "What do you want?" "I want you to deliver a message to your emperor, and through him to every species in the galaxy that has ever thought about hurting a human child." Straightened up. "The message is simple. We do not want war. We do not want conquest. We want to raise our children, build our homes, and live in peace. But if anyone ever touches a human child again, we will not show mercy." "What will you do?" "We will come for you, not just your fleet, not just your military. We will come for everything. Your worlds, your history, your culture, your memory." His face was like stone. "We have weapons that can erase species from existence. Not kill them, erase them. Make it so they never existed at all. We have never used these weapons because we believe they are too terrible." He leaned in one final time. "But for our children, we will use anything. We will do anything. We will become the monsters that end the galaxy if that is what it takes to keep our young safe." Believed him, every word. "Go home," said. "Tell your emperor, tell the council, tell everyone. Humanity is not weak. We are not prey. We are not a species to be hunted." He stepped back. "We are parents, and there is nothing more dangerous in the universe than a parent protecting their child." The human soldiers escorted to his shuttle. He walked on legs that barely worked, his mind spinning with everything he had seen and heard. As his shuttle lifted off, he looked down at the human colony one last time. The small houses, the green farms, the children playing in the streets as if nothing had happened. Such soft creatures, such gentle lives. And behind it all, hidden in the darkness between stars, the power to end empires. Understood now why the galaxy was so afraid of humans. It was not their ships or their weapons or their strange technology. It was something simpler than that. Humans loved too much. They loved their families. They loved their children. They loved each other with a power that could move stars. And love, realized, was the most dangerous force in the universe. The fleet left the system at maximum speed. They did not look back. Behind them, on the surface of it that should have killed them, 3,000 humans watched them go. Then they went back to their farms, their mines, their schools. Life continued. Children laughed. Parents smiled. But somewhere in orbit they waited, watching, protecting. Always protecting. And across the galaxy, in the courts of 100 empires, the message was about to arrive. Humanity had spoken. The galaxy would listen. Or it would burn. 3 months passed. The galaxy changed in ways that no one had expected. When Commander returned he went directly to the Emperor's palace. He did not eat. He did not rest. He did not speak to anyone. He simply walked through the golden halls until he stood before the ancient throne where the ruler of 11,000 years of conquest sat in perfect confidence. Then told his story. He described the human ship that unfolded like a nightmare. He described the weapons that aged warships into dust. He described the father who had crossed light years in minutes to save his child. He described the little girl who had smiled at monsters without fear. When he finished, the Emperor was silent for a long time. "You lost 47 warships to a single vessel," the Emperor asked finally. "No, Your Majesty. We lost 5 warships. The human captain destroyed them as a demonstration. He let the rest of us leave so we could deliver his message." "He let you leave?" "Yes, he could have destroyed us all. We could not hit his ship. We could not stop his weapons. We were completely helpless." His voice shook with remembered terror. "He spared us because he wanted us to talk. He wanted the galaxy to know what humans can do." The Emperor leaned forward on his throne. His black eyes were hard and calculating. "And what can they do?" "Anything, Your Majesty. They have technology we cannot understand. They have weapons we cannot fight. They have ships we cannot detect until they want us to see them." Fell to his knees. "And they have something worse than all of that." "What?" "Love. They love their children more than they fear death, more than they respect power, more than they care about their own survival." He looked up at his emperor with eyes that had seen the truth of the universe. A species like that cannot be conquered. A species like that cannot be controlled. A species like that can only be avoided. The emperor was quiet for a very long time. Then he did something his family had not done in 11,000 years. He asked for peace. The treaty was simple. Ships would never enter human space again. No would ever harm a human. In exchange, humanity would not unmake the empire. The emperor signed it without argument. Other species watched and learned. The hegemony quietly canceled their plans to attack human colonies. Their leaders remembered what had happened to their military bases after the incident. They decided that profit was not worth extinction. The collective released every human prisoner they held. They sent formal apologies to Earth. They offered payment for every person they had harmed. The Crimson Syndicate, a criminal organization that had been selling human children for decades, simply disappeared. Their leaders were found dead in locked rooms on a dozen different worlds. No one knew how it happened. No one asked questions. One by one, the species that had preyed on humanity stopped. The raids ended. The kidnapping stopped. The attacks became a thing of the past. Humanity had not fired another shot after that night on 442B. They did not need to. The message had been received. On 442B, life returned to normal. The farms produced food. The mines produced ore. The schools produced educated children who would go on to build the future. Went back to class. She learned mathematics and science and history. She played with her friends during breaks. She practiced her Tai Chi forms every morning in the garden. But something was different now. The other children looked at her with respect. The teachers treated her carefully. Everyone knew she was the daughter of Captain Park, the man who had made an empire tremble. Did not like the attention. She just wanted to be normal. One morning, 3 months after the attack, she stood in her garden practicing her forms. The sun was just coming up, painting the sky in colors of gold and pink. The air was cool and fresh. Her father watched from the porch, a cup of coffee in his hands. He had dark circles under his eyes. He had not been sleeping well since the attack. Bad dreams, he said, memories he could not forget. Dad called out. Yes. Can I ask you something? Of course. She stopped her practice and turned to face him. Her dark eyes were serious in a way that made her look older than 8 years old. Would you really have done it? What you said to the alien? Would you really have erased their entire species? Was quiet for a long moment. He looked at his daughter, this small person who meant more to him than all the stars in the sky. He thought about his wife, dead because aliens wanted to test human reactions. He thought about all the children who had been stolen over the years. He thought about the fear he had felt when his implant activated. Yes, he said finally. To protect you, to protect any human child, yes, without hesitation, without regret. Nodded slowly. She did not seem scared or upset. She seemed to understand. I do not think you will have to, she said. Why not? Because they understand now. She looked up at the sky, where somewhere far away alien emperors were rewriting their laws and generals were changing their strategies. They understand what we really are. And what are we? Smiled. It was the same smile she had given Commander on the night of the attack. Calm, confident, absolutely unafraid. We are a family, she said. All of us, every human. We are one big family that protects each other. That is why they are scared of us. Not because of ships or weapons, because of love. Set down his coffee and walked to his daughter. He knelt down so they were at the same eye level. When did you get so smart? He asked. I learned from Mom, said. And from you. The stories you used to tell me about princesses who saved themselves. I figured out the secret. What secret? They did not need princes because they were not waiting to be saved. They were just giving the dragons a chance to run away. She grinned, showing the gap where she had lost a tooth last week. We are like those princesses. We do not want to fight, but if we have to, we will win. Laughed. He pulled his daughter into a hug, feeling her small heart beating against his chest. I love you. I love you too, Dad. She hugged him back. Now can we have breakfast? I am hungry. Of course, what do you want? Pancakes with chocolate chips. Sounds perfect. They walked inside together, father and daughter, leaving the garden empty in the morning light. Above them the sky was clear and blue. Somewhere beyond that blue, hidden in the darkness between stars, 12,000 ships waited. Ships that hoped they would never be needed. Ships that were ready if they ever were. Humanity had delivered its message. The galaxy had listened. And in a small house on a father made pancakes for his daughter while she told him about the dream she had last night. Life continued. Love continued. And the monsters of the galaxy learned to fear the gentlest species they had ever met. Because humans did not fight for power or territory or glory. They fought for each other. And that made them unstoppable. The end.